Maybe I shouldn't have started this eating my food, but hey. It is how it is.
Unless you must be a fucking weirdo and have yourself eating at the start of it.
Yeah, you know what? That works.
No, it doesn't. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I know. Anyway. Oh, this is really fucking hard. Ah.
Just stop eating it. Let's try to finish this before you finish.
Alright, I'm done.
I'm done.
You see? Okay. You may have been quicker if we started the same. But, hey.
Okay, what's up? Wait. What's we even say at the start? I don't even know.
We just start it randomly, and it's like it's starting in the middle of a conversation. That's how I just start it randomly. Because that's the funniest shit. I never do intros. Intros are always really, like, awkward, so I never do that shit.
Yeah,
it's real like fake. It always sounds real fake. I like to start it randomly. Like,
what's up? Like and subscribe.
Yo,
yeah. I never know what to say.
Yeah, I just like starting it randomly and just kind of act like it's been in the middle of a conversation. Anyway.
Yeah, it looks like it's a normal conversation, like we're on FaceTime with people.
Yeah, I'm crying though, man. That 3-0, bro. That was
Tottenham. Oh. So if you don't know. You support Tottenham.
Yeah.
And it was... To be honest, I don't really want to say anything too bad today because the Leeds game isn't on yet. So we should beat Norwich.
Yeah, but the thing is, your team's entirely championship players. Yeah. Our team has arguably, in his prime, one of the best strikers of
Spurs have a player worth 150 million and our striker, we bought for like less than $1 million. Probably, I'm pretty sure something like that.
Honestly, yeah, and the thing is, you're in relegation right now, but like
the amount of injuries we have. Calvin Phillips was only coming back. Rafinha missed the Southampton game. Bamford's been out since the game before West Ham. I'm pretty sure I forget who that was. Strike got a 3-game red card. Firpo's out injured. He's back now. Like Phillips was injured. Aylan had an operation. So, Leeds, it's kind of been like, I don't even know.
It'd be really disappointing, though, if you get relegated this season.
We won't get relegated.
But, like, you're in relegation.
And, like, one of our players, like, he's probably one of our better players. Like, he was our most underrated player last year, Dallas. Like, he's had lots of, like, personal issues and stuff. And all that stuff. So, he's been on really bad form.
I've left my phone over there again.
I'll get it. But yeah, Spurs are they're abysmal.
We're having some growing pains. Daniel Levy sacked Pochettino way too soon, and we haven't found a good manager since then.
Like,
I mean, Jose did all right.
I know stats. You didn't have a single shot on target.
Wait, did we not?
No.
That's abysmal. So did
like you said, more possession. You had more shots off target. You had 6 off target, none on target.
We're just so
more
bad.
Offsides, less fouls, more throws, more crosses, more counters, more saves. The keepers had nothing to do. There was 1 save in the match. Lloris. De Gea had no saves to make.
If they scored 3 goals, are you telling me they only had 3 shots and they all scored?
They had 4 on target, 3 goals, 1 save.
Right, so...
And then you said none on target, so they had nothing to do. Which, Spurs... They're really boring to watch.
I saw De Gea bring a book out at second half and just sit on the grass and just have a little read.
Yeah, he could have had a cup of tea.
I know he could have.
You would have loved that.
Yeah.
If you were De Gea.
Yeah, to be honest, you could see him. He was like, I could use this time to like bring out a sponsored drink and get me some sponsor money.
Yeah, he could have been doing some sponsorships while doing it, making an ad or something.
It was actually, I love Spurs, right? Because I'll always love Spurs because it's what my grandparents supported the team. But like, my God, we're not doing too well right now.
Yeah, I know. You just need the Newcastle takeover. The Newcastle Saudi Arabian money. The corrupt money.
It's so funny how quickly that died down. For a week, everyone was like, we hate them. They're all so bad, and I don't like them either, right? Because
people
I'm
don't like
pretty
them
sure. I'm pretty like I know guitar is very like anti-disability and all that shit. Like they'll put your head on a spike for being disabled. I don't know if Saudi Arabia is the same way. So like, if it is, then I hate that.
I saw this story. Let me see.
Do you remember, having to go through guitar for for Australia? I was like shivering. I was like, oh shit.
I'm trying to find a story here because I saw it earlier. It was about like the Saudi Arabian things and all. It's about there's these two Saudi Arabians, like a brother and a sister, and they went over to England because their older brother went over to England, and he's a Chelsea fan. So the fella, because your man went over to London, he just started supporting Chelsea. So he went over and watched them win the league. But I heard somewhere that I couldn't see the whole thing because I don't pay for the Athletic. But it was like they got arrested. They were like they are imprisoned in Saudi Arabia or something for no reason or something like that. I'm not too sure about the whole thing, but I saw it on Twitter.
Just to be clear, we're sure like in those countries, if the countries are as bad as it's made out to be, it's not the people there, obviously. It's just the
this is it here. So this is a photo of Chelsea fan Omar Al-Jabri taking a Stamford Bridge in 2015 when Jose Mourinho's side won the league. He and his sister are now in prison, locked up by the Saudis funding Newcastle United. There's a whole story and report we have to pay. You can see a bit of it, but not all of it. But
yeah. I mean, and obviously to reiterate once again, like obviously when we talk about this, we're not talking about the people who live there, because obviously if the government is as bad as we assume they are, we're told from media, it's obviously oppressing the people. So the people aren't bad at all. We have nothing against the Saudi people or the Qatarian people or anything like that. It's just when we talk about this, we talk about mainly how the government rules and our issues with that, not the people themselves. Just to be very clear on that.
Yeah. I can't get more into the story because I don't pay for the Athletic, so I can't read the story. But
bro,
yeah, that was on.
That's the thing. Have you seen like the news outlets? They're like they got Australia to basically charge Google for every time for showing it up on their thing, which is, I mean, I understand the concept, right? Because they're getting like, but at the same time, you gotta understand, like they want it to be elevated where the corporations who can pay money can get more view time, which is a bit stupid. Like that's the thing about the internet. It's like it's the place where people can kind of build up their own identities and people can fight against the corporations, and that way you can have an independent news source that completely through the ground up built its way through Google, through being on Google and just self-promotion. But now the corporations want to basically get a leg up, and now I only saw the thumbnail. I'll put it in watch later, but apparently Boris Johnson wants to get rid of like anonymous and anonymity on the internet, so everyone will know who you are if you go on the internet, which I think that's very dangerous.
It's dangerous for younger people, like say like people like around my age.
I understand that, right? I understand the companies themselves having to know who you are, but other people, nah. I'm not like, okay, you have to like be legally. The companies themselves have to legally know who you are and be able, like, if you say something incredibly illegal, like I'm gonna
blow some place up,
bro. Look, you're
gonna go on a killing spree and just stab everyone in town, like.
Yeah, like if that happens and you say something like that, obviously, again, there's a lot to be said about like words over actions and how to deal with that. Because, like, things can be misinterpreted and reported, but then at the same time, they do have to be careful.
Yeah, you have to be... With social media, it's like...
Yeah, it's
you
hard.
don't know what people... You don't know if someone's telling the truth, or you don't know if someone's messing. Because there's a lot of, like, people who like to, like, troll and... Like, troll accounts and stuff.
Yeah, I mean...
And they say stuff, but it's not actually... They just lie and make fun of shit.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, right, and I've always said this, do you remember the Eat with the Enemy thing that we watched?
Yeah.
And this mother didn't let their kids on social media. I can't remember her age limit, but I know one of her kids was like 13 and he wasn't on social media. I understand the dangers of social media, especially for girls, and how, like, it increases the suicide rate. But for me personally, I believe I'm a much like more confident in myself and more like able to take just people being shit people because I've been raised with the internet. People have said some really
I
nasty stuff to me as a kid, and I
know
grew up around
I
it.
know a lot of people don't like Twitter, but that shit is my favorite thing ever. I love people say something about my football team, and I'll go into like 20 tweet fucking. I'll just go through the replies and reply to every single one. Just I swear everyone on Twitter will be so good at debates.
But you see,
because they just talk shit about everyone else.
No, but like they're not proper debates. But at the
I
same
know,
time,
but they're like.
At the same time, what I do love about Twitter is that people always say it's a cesspool, but to me, whenever I'm feeling down and feeling like I'm a scumbag, I'm a horrible person,
Just go on Twitter and make fun of people.
I go on Twitter and I don't even make fun of people.
No, not even make fun of people. Just argue with people.
I just
love arguing.
I just look at it and I'm like, all right, I'm like 10 times better than these people. I should be all right.
Yeah, it's a confidence boost.
It's a confidence boost to me. But at the same time, what I'm saying is like me being raised around the internet and being, particularly with Call of Duty, all the shit you get thrown at you, all the abusive language. Now, it could be because of how we were raised. Our parents, especially our nan and our dad, are very like tough-skinned people. Not a lot of things get through to them. So maybe that was passed on to us. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like being around people, being around the internet and being around people being just general scumbags and trolls from day one has made me much less susceptible to it now.
Yeah.
Than if I was, let's say I wasn't allowed on it till I was like 18. I feel like I'd be such a sensitive person and it would have like caused me a lot of problems later on.
It's something that you never would have experienced.
Yeah.
It's completely new.
But I feel like as a child it was easier to adapt to. But at the same time, you know, there's the worries with like people being pedophiles and shit like that. That's a worry as well, especially like imagine if, I know we did this, imagine if like we weren't, like our parents weren't very well at teaching us don't give information away to strangers. And like, do you remember all the shit with like when we were kids and we'd have our little YouTube channels and shit?
Yeah.
Imagine like pedos started watching that and started trying to reach out and you didn't know anything about it.
Thing is, like
that is dangerous.
I just feel like maybe it's just because I was brought up learning that type of stuff, but I just think it's common sense.
Yeah, to me it is, but then you have to understand different parents teach differently. Like to us, for
me, even if I didn't get taught that, I feel like I just know not to do that type of stuff. Like I never really talked to like really when I used to play like say games when I was younger, like COD and stuff online. I never really. Maybe the odd time I'd go talking to people, I'd go into game chat. Most of the time I'd just play with my mates. Or then when Fortnite came out, I'd do like maybe random duos or like random squad shit like that. But like, I wouldn't really talk to a lot of people that I wouldn't know because I just couldn't be arsed.
Yeah, I mean, I think my big thing was with this is that like you have to understand people like develop a lot, like certain people develop a lot slower. Like think of it this way, I'm sure everyone who's listened to this at some point has been in school. Like think of when you're in school or even at work. Like so many different people have such different levels of intelligence or understanding about the internet.
Yeah.
Like you'd think it's common sense to know that you have to that parental controls exist, but loads of parents want laws passed that there's no need to be passed because they can do it through
and just do it themselves.
They can do it through parental controls to stop their kids from getting the stuff they don't want them to see. Like they're always like, "Why is my kid playing GTA?" But like, because
you let them.
There's a setting on the PlayStation or Xbox to put parental controls where the system itself reads the age rating and is like, "No, this kid can't play it because you set it to a certain age rating of the game."
Or just don't buy your kid the game.
Yeah, like I mean, to be fair though, like the whole credit card saving thing. I know a lot of parents talk about that. When I have kids, I'm definitely not using my card. Like it has to be a voucher, like one of those Xbox vouchers or PlayStation vouchers, because I'm not chancing that shit.
Yeah.
But again, I'll probably use parental controls as well. Like people just don't who ask for these sort of laws, very strict laws. They don't understand that parental controls are a thing. And I mean, you could say like, oh well, companies could do a better job of like telling us what parental controls are, but at the same time, they do. When you set up a console, the first thing they ask you is, do you want to set up parental controls? But a lot of parents don't who have young kids don't set up their systems with their kids. They just give it to the kids and let the kids set it up.
Yeah.
And then when their kids do say no to parental controls because they understand more what parental controls can do, unlike the parents, then that's the issue. It's because of the parents being unattentive to their kids in that particular way, and then they have issues with the government and companies who have not really caused you any issue, because it's really your fault, because there are ways to solve it through the systems themselves that they set up. And I mean, there's been a lot of shit with Facebook, and as someone who's never been on Facebook, I can't speak on Facebook right now. I don't know much.
Did you hear about Facebook? They're changing their name. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they're actually, it's not going to be Facebook anymore. They're changing it to Meta.
Like, why?
I don't know. I just saw on Twitter.
I mean, but Facebook is such an iconic name, like.
Yeah. I don't really know, to be honest. Why?
So, does that mean now it's going to be legal to call your kid Facebook?
Maybe.
You remember the way they trademarked that, so you're not allowed to call children Facebook?
Yeah.
Man.
Why would you do that anyways?
I don't know.
I don't even understand why.
When people have called their kid Naruto, alright, so the people call their kid names. There's a kid out there with the name Goku, you know that exists.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just hilarious.
Let me find it here. See, look at that. Breaking. Facebook's new name will be Meta.
Meta is like, it's like,
So
oh,
weird,
look at the new Meta on Meta. Like, oh no, that's just weird.
Look what people are doing.
Ah,
Because like, this is the actual logo, yeah?
the new Facebook Meta. Oh, Jesus.
There's this FIFA YouTuber, Danny Aarons. He, when he found out that, he tweeted like, it's a good thing I got off Facebook because I don't go by the Meta. Because he hates using
that's
like
some
really
good
OP
shit.
players in FIFA.
I mean, to be real though, I literally got on Facebook like 2 weeks ago because I was like, I need photos for an album, and like, you know.
Yeah, I got on it to just watch Leeds when they were in the Championship. When games weren't live, people would stream them.
Yeah.
That's the only time I really use Facebook. And I didn't really use it that often. I don't even think I watched a single game on it. I kind of just ran out of space on my phone, deleted it.
It is funny though, because I didn't realize how much stuff of our lives that our parents put up on Facebook until I got on Facebook. Yeah. Like, there's so much stuff from when we were like really young, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, I don't remember this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't know. There's a lot of people who like put their kids' lives up on Facebook, which is fine now. But like at the same time, you know, when they're like public accounts and they try to use it to get followers, that's like a big issue. Because did you see that whole controversy with that family channel? I can't remember their name, but your one who runs it, basically, her kid's dog had to go in for surgery, and he could have died, and the kid was so upset he was crying. And his mom was like, that's good, keep it up for the camera. And she was telling him to turn and do all this stuff. And he was like, Mom, I'm actually upset. And she was like, yeah, put your hand up to your face and do this and do that. And like, try to, just so she can get a thumbnail. Jeez. And it's like manipulating kids in such a way. And then it causes rifts with the kids then as well. Because when they become teenagers and more self-aware of what their privacy means, they're more annoyed about it then. And I think that's the one thing I will say about YouTube, and I know this was a big issue when it first got announced, because it could have meant that like anything cartoon or like anything gaming could have been not allowed because it was like colourful and could have appealed to kids. But the new COPPA law actually helps that a lot, where like kids, a lot of the time you can't monetize stuff that has kids in it, which I think is probably a good thing to do, because although it might be limiting certain forms of entertainment, you can see now, especially with family channels, they are kind of manipulating their own kids, which would cause a lot of mental trauma.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's better in that sense.
But also the ones that are like, there's obviously ones that like force it on their kids, but there's also the ones that like,
But
like they could be legit. Like the kids actually like doing the stuff,
of course the kids
and that's how
could,
they make their money.
But of course the kids could like doing the stuff, but at the same time,
a prime example of the parents like manipulating. Remember Lil Tay?
Who?
Lil Tay, the 9-year-old, the biggest flex for the century.
Is that like the guy who...
No, it was a girl.
I don't...
Yeah, nah.
No, I remember the name, but I can't remember...
I'll show you a picture of her.
There was like... I remember watching
and
videos
she was found out,
all the controversy.
She was found out because her mom was like a real estate agent, and they made all these videos and like houses and shit, and they were actually the real estate houses. Her.
Yeah.
she was like, I'm the biggest flexer of the century. Yeah, basically it was found. There was a clip of her brother teaching her what to say and how to say it and all this stuff, and she's 9.
Yeah, but that's the shit. Like that's just.
And she made them a lot. Like her mom got fired from a real estate job. In one of the videos she used her boss's car. In one of the videos.
Christ. Imagine though, right? You see this new COPPA law. Well, it's not really new now. It's been around for like a year. But like, imagine if it was around when we were like making her like go Gamer 100 shit and that crap.
Yeah.
The Christmas countdown.
I
like imagine that. Like they're not the police are knocking at your door. We want to arrest who's registered this account. And it's like, hi, I'm a little 8-year-old. Hello.
Yeah.
That would be so funny. I mean, what would happen there actually? Would like our parents get arrested for that? Imagine our parents getting arrested for the Christmas countdown.
I wouldn't. Well,
that would be hilarious.
Because I wouldn't say they do stuff for that type of thing because like,
I know
because like you done it. You're making it yourself.
Yeah, I don't know how far the law goes, and I don't understand it. It is protecting kids, but it would be funny.
I'd say it's more so for like parents forcing it on kids, like all these like
I
know like Ryan's Toys reviews and shit like that.
I don't think it's not that particularly. It's just when it's found out that they're manipulating their kids, there can be something done about it. But the big issue was, do you remember a couple of years ago, there was a whole thing about basically people would upload these dance videos of kids. And then the comments would basically be a bunch of people trying to traffic the kids. So they uploaded it so they could basically do child trafficking and stuff like that. And YouTube, that was a big article for YouTube, and that's why this whole COPPA thing kind of came about. Yeah. To kind of stop that. Plus, YouTube legally was only allowed to have people over the age of 13 on their platform, but they were spouting to people that, you can advertise to kids and stuff, and they were allowing gambling and shit ads.
Yeah, that's why they now have like YouTube Kids and all that stuff. Yeah. They have like separate
I think
things.
YouTube Kids is great, and so is Netflix Kids. But like, even the thing with Squid Game, right? Where they're like, oh no, we should ban this. Our kids can't be seeing this. Like, why are you letting your kid on normal Netflix? Like, they have Netflix Kids for a reason. They have YouTube Kids for a reason. Like, I understand it's hard to monitor what your kids are on, but if you put the right parental controls on, you should not need to do as much monitoring as someone who doesn't have the parental controls on. Yeah. So it's just a major thing where parents are just being irresponsible in that way. And it just, part of it annoys me, but also you understand how stressful it is. Like, a lot of people are working all the time, and like devices are looking after their kids because they don't get the time to do that shit. But at the same time, I'm sure they could have put an evening aside to set up the parental controls to keep their kids safe, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it would have literally just been one evening. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah. I think it'd be a bit weird if, like, being anonymous was taken away completely. Just being anonymous to companies, I understand that could be an issue because they have to follow laws, and if you do something really, really bad, like, you have to be able to be tracked down, held accountable. But the issue is if they're going to do this, they need to make sure the websites are unhackable, because imagine if imagine if the Twitch stuff happened and you were able to find people's addresses, like, that wouldn't be good at all.
The amount of swatting and shit would happen, especially for Twitch streamers. Especially with they just get swatted all the
time.
People
who hate you, like, they'd be able to basically ruin your life extremely easily if they take away anonymity. So
I was like, XQC is a Twitch streamer, you know? No. He's one of the biggest Twitch streamers. Like, he gets like 70,000 to 80,000 a stream, and he had to move house because he kept getting swatted, and then literally not even like literally a few weeks after he left, he moved his house. Some guy broke into his house, like because he wanted something. He was like screaming his name out and stuff. Like he was calling his name out and stuff like that. But he didn't live there anymore. So after he left, this fella broke into the house. I was looking for him. Like he's lucky he actually moved out because he was getting swatted from like a lot of people. Like he kept getting swatted because he was so famous. People found his address, so they just kept swatting him. So he had to move, and then some fella broke into his house, and don't know if he wanted to kill him or if he wanted money or what he wanted.
It's so hard to like kind of understand because at the same time you kind of want to trust the people who watch your shit, especially if you're a live streamer, because they're a key part of your content is your interactions with them on stream. Yeah. But at the same time, you really don't know who's watching your shit. Like, even if 99% of them are great, there could be that 1% who's an absolute scumbag. And, like, it's just so hard to... Because you don't know. People, like... And even that, some people can literally just... People, like, 1% of people, or maybe even 5%, are probably just hate watching you. They hate you so much that, like, they watch you to hate you and find out everything about you so they can try and ruin your life. Which is, like, a horrible...
I honestly don't get what the point in swatting is. Because you're basically just wasting your own time to ruin some guy who's just he's doing his job. That's like, say you work in an office and someone calling a SWAT team on you while you're working in an office, just doing your normal job.
Yeah.
But just because they're famous, it's like...
But I think
they want to ruin their lives.
I think that's what, like, people are doing now. Like, I know you don't watch this part of YouTube, but on the side of you, like, on the kind of anime side of YouTube, right? The
weird side.
Yeah, the main three kind of YouTubers in that sense, right? They now work for a company. Like, they work for a company. I'm sure you've heard of Bookwalker. They're like a digital book site.
No.
They're kind of like an Audible competitor or something like that.
Yeah.
But they have their own companies in Japan, so they do all their work in an actual office and stuff like that. And I feel like that's kind of not the future, because I feel like independent YouTubers are still going to be the main part. But I feel like eventually there are going to be like professional studios and professional companies that are literally just there for studios to protect their creators from like swatting and stuff like that. And I feel like that's kind of the future. Like to have, instead of a building where a company's working, you have a building where a bunch of YouTubers who are part of this, let's say, organization, or like...
Well, that's what like team houses are.
Partner, like let's say, for example, if you're to do let's say you're to because these YouTubers are basically partnering up with Bookwalker permanently, right? So they're like a permanent sponsor, for example. Let's say you do a thing where like there's companies that will sponsor you and allow you to work in a studio that way, in their own studio, to protect you from that type of stuff. I feel like
I think that's pretty similar to, like, say if you join like a team, like a professional like gaming team, like FaZe. I have the FaZe house.
Yeah,
100 teams.
But I don't think does FaZe have any like, because the thing is, I think you'd be a lot like, because FaZe is still just a group of people, right? Whereas if someone is to try and swat a company, like, they're gonna get a bunch of legal action. Like, the company's gonna find out who you are, and you're gonna be fucking sued into oblivion. Yeah. Whereas if you swat just some random guy, that's not... It might happen, but the likelihood is neither of you want to pay the legal fees. So there's a whole separate thing to it, you know?
Yeah.
And the issue is, like, obviously, like, when our like grandkids are growing up, it's not going to be as much of an issue, because the people in politics will have grown up in this environment.
The people our age will be the people. Well, maybe not our age, but
well, no, most people in politics
this generation,
are like 70 and 50.
So pretty much our generation, they're like understand these problems. Whether the politicians now have no fucking clue.
Yeah, I understand, like, being a politician is like a miserable job, right? I understand how miserable it is, and like a lot of people are sometimes power hungry. But at the same time, it's like such a thankless job. Like, it's such a miserable job. Like, do you remember when Leo Varadkar was like had to have armed guards at his house because people were like trying to kill him for like a solid 3 months?
Yeah, they've done like protests at his house. And
like, he's like, and he's like a nice guy. Like, he's not. he's never done anything wrong to anybody. He's just kind of doing.
I mean, there's recently in the last year or so, there's been
mean,
a lot of controversy around.
There's
him.
been controversy, but like he's never done anything to anyone like that is like worth like debt, like trying to threaten his life was what I mean.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a politician, so he's done some pretty immoral shit when it comes to like in terms of the law, like leaking documents and shit, but not like I'm gonna kill you type of shit. But he's like a pretty like when I say he's a decent guy, I mean compared to people like Boris Johnson, Donald
the way
Trump,
you see
and
him
Kim Jong-un.
yeah.
He's a lot like they're a lot better in that regard. I like, and he's just kind of
anyone's better than them.
Yeah, true. But it's just kind of I feel bad, and like all the homophobic shit. Yeah, it's like he's trying to live his life, man. And he's just getting all this shit from people. Like it's just kind of horrible, you know.
Yeah.
And like I understand, there's a lot of horrible stuff that's going on. They're not really helping the housing crisis and shit like that. But like at the same time, it's just people getting out of hand a little bit.
Yeah. So, like a lot of people probably end up leaving Ireland.
I mean that is what happens because
the house prices are so high. People will just like
yeah.
No, by houses, there's a lot more homeless people.
I mean, you're going off to Spain to play for Barca, aren't you?
Hopefully, but.
Do you remember that? Do you remember when you were a kid, you and your mate were like, we're gonna just like camp outside camp now.
Yeah.
That was the funniest shit. I mean, man, hopefully the football shit comes to fruition. You're putting in a lot of effort, but like, Christ, man. Just thinking about that, like everyone I know wants to move from Ireland because everything's just gone out of hand. I mean, I believe Ireland's a pretty great country, at least where I live. I understand like the rural areas are pretty like when you go on holidays and you see some of these rural areas, they are kind of miserable. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like
I mean that's just because you live in the city.
Yeah, but like I mean,
you're not used to it. It's completely different than what you're used to.
Do you remember when we went to this place?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
And there was literally one shop in the entire place, and it didn't even sell proper food. It just sold biscuits. Do you remember that?
It's probably there would be other shops.
Yeah,
I was like a news agent.
I guess.
And anyways, there was like another place pretty close. Yeah. That you'd be able to like drive to.
And I mean, I guess if you didn't have, I was just thinking of someone with a disability. Like, imagine that. Like, there's no.
Yeah, like for you, it'd be a lot harder
because there's no facilities like in Dublin, Galway, Cork, and all that, and all those places, all those major city places. Like, they would have facilities to support people with disabilities and people who are less fortunate. But like the rural areas of Ireland just don't have that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I kind of come across them as miserable. Surely if you don't have those problems and you're like fully mobile,
yeah, I'd say like it'd be a lot like it'd be, how do I explain it? Like it's a very quiet place. Like
yeah,
everyone would be close with each other. Like you probably know everyone in the village.
And I mean that's fine. As I'm saying, if you were completely able and mobily able, I'd say it's a lot easier to live in those type of places because you don't need those facilities. But those facilities are literally only in 4 counties in Ireland. I'm sure they're in other places that are more urbanised, but the 4 major cities is where they are. So that's my big issue with like the country. But like the country itself has some pretty lovely places. Do you remember when we went to Galway and do you remember that Star Road place?
Yeah.
That was fucking
and like
gorgeous.
That beach that was like on like, the Atlantic Ocean and stuff.
That was some gorgeous shit, man, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, the house prices are just kind of out.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's mad. Yeah, I wonder when or if they will ever do something about that.
I feel like I don't know, like, but all parties, like Sinn Féin are talking about doing stuff, but then again, you know, politics.
Yeah.
Whatever the current party are not doing, the opposition parties will be like, we're gonna do that, and then they get in power, and they do the exact same thing the other parties did, and then just kind of the same shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, to be honest. I don't know what's going on at this point. I was really invested in it a few years ago, and then I just kind of like it just kind of I didn't care anymore. I was like,
Couldn't care less.
yeah, pretty much. I care more so around the time where like elections are coming up and you can actually put in change. But like in the mundane, every single day, like I don't have the time for that shit.
Yeah, you couldn't be arsed. Just wanna. Yeah.
Around like you'll see now, like with people, whenever an election is coming up, that's when everyone tries to get up to date with all the current politics shit because you need to actually make change by electing someone.
Yeah.
So everyone cares for that like period of time, but after that, I've realized there's no real kind of, you shouldn't push for that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, I just don't really get involved with politics or shit like that. I just don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
I just couldn't be arsed.
Yeah. That's the one thing. Like, for as much of a scumbag as Donald Trump was, like,
His Twitter was the best.
His Twitter was funny. Like, but at the same time, he did do some horrible shit. And I think everyone took him as a joke until the whole Capitol riot shit. Like, that.
Yeah,
that was when, like, everyone went from...
that was mental.
Like, you either hated Donald Trump...
Well, you either hated him or you would do anything for him.
Yeah, no, but like, you know, people like in America, that was how it was like. But then people outside of America were kind of just like, he's a funny meme guy president, you know, he doesn't really matter. But then once the Capitol riots happened, everyone stopped like joking around about him, and he was like, he's just a scumbag.
Yeah,
like that just changed the perception overnight of what type of person he was.
Yeah, yeah. His Twitter is the best, man. The shit that he says, just really funny.
Do you remember when I don't know if it was like the start of 2020 when everyone was like, it's time to get drafted into World War III, boys.
Yeah, Trump and Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. Or was it? No, was it? I don't remember. I remember seeing a thumbnail with India's flag. I don't know why. Was there like something going on with India?
No, it was just North Korea.
Oh, was it? Okay. See, that's how unknowledgeable we are about this useless shit.
Well, you just don't know any flags. It's probably just a North Korea
yeah,
flag.
Probably was. The only flags I know are the ones I have in my room. Ireland, Spain, Netherlands, Australia, and Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs the country.
Spurs the country.
Great country, actually.
Yeah, lovely country. The country of Spurs. Don't you just love to go on holiday to the country of
the country of the team that cannot fucking score and are so shit and get smacked to Man United, who just got smacked by Liverpool.
Oh god, I swear.
Really, when you think of it, that means Spurs would have lost 8-0 to Liverpool.
No.
Yeah. 8-0. Mad. Yeah, they probably would lose 8-0 and all.
Probably, but hey.
Spurs is very dodgy and Kane's really shit.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, but what would we have done? We didn't need a new stadium. At the same time, we did actually need a new stadium. You know? So we had to put all our money into that. We still haven't recovered.
You just have money. It's just very shit at spending it. You just don't know who to buy. You just don't know what to do with your money. Really, like, you could buy a lot of good young talent, or just good players in general. You just don't. Daniel Levy's shit.
Just buy Messi off PSG.
Yeah, which is pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty easy shit, you know. 25 million, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
easy money, easy. I mean, by that logic, Leeds should be able to do that. I mean, you've got what everyone in your club considers a god of Bielsa.
He is a god. He's a great manager.
I mean, I know he is, but Christ, yeah, like Leeds fans worship that man.
Why wouldn't we? We went from 13th in the Championship. No sign of doing anything well. He comes and he gets us to the Prem. In one season we came third. We went up 10 spaces with basically the same team. And basically with the same team the next year, we win the league by 10 points.
Yeah.
So like...
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
But Yeah, I saw this last night as well.
Who's your...
Sergio Aguero, he had to like, he had to like go to hospital for like a cardiac exam. He came off just before half time. Like, really, look, there's a picture of it. He like couldn't breathe and shit.
Oh,
And he had to go to hospital.
What? Wait.
It's mad.
Oh no, he's not going to be able to play in the Serie A again, is he?
Well, it doesn't seem to be as bad. But yeah. And anyways,
for Ericsson, like, that's so bad for him.
But I think it could be a really bad thing, but it also could be a good thing. Like, he could go back to Ajax now.
Well, he can't.
And go back. Right, he could.
Well, he can't play. Oh wait, Ajax are in the Serie A.
Fucking Egypt. They're in the Eredivisie.
Oh right. You see
the Dutch league.
I mean, yeah, but so what? Why was it like? Why was it a controversy? Was he signed for?
He signed from the year before when he left Spurs.
Right. Okay.
He signed for Inter. Then didn't really do much in the first year. Then he was there for 2 years, and then the Euros incident happened, and he had to get that defibrillator, and then yeah. But the thing is, if he went to Ajax, like, it'd be really good for him because there's a player for Ajax, Daley Blind, who has the same thing as him. They've got everything in their heart. So the medical, like the doctors and stuff at Ajax will know how to deal with someone like that.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Footballers now are playing for longer and longer because of how medicine is like just helping people stay as fit as humanly possible, which is absolutely fantastic. Like, I know people have their issues with like doctors and medicine and shit, especially with all this COVID stuff, and everyone's just kind of getting sick of how long shit's taken to discover shit. But as someone who is literally only able to live a really good life because of all the stuff doctors have done for me, like, to me, medicine and like surgeries and shit, they're fascinating. How we've advanced. Like, if you think,
who came up with cutting someone open and doing something that, who the first person to do that? How would they know how to do that?
Yeah, but do you remember the surgery I got back in like 2015 to like bring my knees back down to normal level because they had like a bone.
They went behind you.
They go
behind you.
No, they went up to about here, like, and my knees had just stretched up to like basically near me balls, near enough to be balls, right? And like the surgery that they had to fix that wasn't around 10 years prior to that, so it wasn't around like 2005. It had been like made very recently. If you think about that, that's fascinating. The development, like, people from 20 years ago at that point in time, obviously now 20 years ago would have been 20 years ago at that point in time would have been screwed for life. Yeah. And even now,
I saw this video. I don't know how true it is, but it's like how like brain, like removing, like, say, a brain tumor, like how you'd go about it. Who would have thought to do that? You have to like cut the back of the head, and you have to like cut different things, and then like fucking how would you do that?
To me, it would make more sense how, like, with cancer. To me, it makes more sense how they would come to think of developing it.
Yeah,
because it would happen because cancer
swear,
happens so frequently that you obviously see a problem and you're like, we need to fix this, right? Yeah.
But how did people come up with the idea of operations, and like how did people know what to do? How did over time people know what to do?
I mean, do you remember? I don't know. I'm sure you got taught this in like history class. Do you remember when they said they used to like let people's, like, they opened their skull and let them bleed out, and that was how they'd fix it, and that would just like that would be how they'd fix it back in like the, what's it called, the plague era, like the 1800s. And they like they put like this contraption around your arm to squeeze out all your blood, and that doctors thought they were healing you.
They were just slowly killing you.
It was crazy shit, man. It's crazy, like from the 1800s to like now. It's just crazy. Even like this.
When we were like saying primary school, when we do like the ancient like Egypt and stuff, when people would die, they got a hook, put up their nose, and pulled their brain out through their nose.
Oh,
that's weird. And that's really weird.
That's some weird
like,
shit.
what is it? Like a fucking souvenir? You kill someone, pull their brain out, bang, souvenir.
No,
Pop that in a case and hang it on your wall.
This is the brain of your grandfather.
Yeah, here you go. This is your memory of them.
We pass this down generation by generation.
Yeah. Oh.
Each child has to eat a segment of his brain.
So they inherit their. Yeah, I don't even know.
Actually, like, I think eating someone's brain would probably kill you.
I'd say there's some very good nutrients and protein and carb. That's probably the ultimate food. I mean, it probably gives you a mixture of carbs, protein, everything you need, vitamins.
I'm pretty sure, like, eating people is, like, a very bad for you long term. I understand it helps you survive when you're up in the mountains and shit. But I think long term it causes, like, some very severe deformities and shit. I don't know where I heard that, but I'm pretty sure it's
I wouldn't have thought, because I would have thought it just... No, because... it would digest like normal, and it would just... If you think about shit out.
Carbon dioxide, we like carbon dioxide in small bases in our bodies, right? But if we have a large enough dose of that kills us, because it's some sort of poison to us. It's kind of like chocolate for dogs, right?
Yeah.
And eating someone else... You'd probably eat their carbon dioxide as well, right? So that would probably be...
No, but wouldn't... If someone was dead, they wouldn't have any oxygen or carbon dioxide?
Yeah, but it would take time for that to... Well, the oxygen would leave immediately, but the carbon dioxide, it would take time for that to completely leave their body, from what I know anyway. So that would, like... Absolutely... That would, like, completely and utterly destroy you. Like, you'd probably die slowly. I feel like that's why people eat, like, when you hear stories about, like, people who were lost on Mount Everest that had to eat their friends and all this shit. Like, they eat, like, their arm, and then they use the rest of their body to, like, warm up.
Yeah.
What was that story? Do you remember that guy? He's a sole survivor, and he had to eat all his camping mates because they all had died, and he was about to die. And he had to he carved open their bodies, and at night, to keep warm, he'd have to go inside and, like...
I didn't hear that.
Oh, man.
I was like, I think... Do you ever hear about the Man United team? I don't know, maybe... Was it the Brazilian team? It was one of the teams. I think it was Man United. There was... Maybe it wasn't. But there was, like, a plane crash. And someone, like, to survive, some of the players had to eat other players that were already dead. It could have been the Brazilian one. Because there was a Brazilian team that happened to... Recent enough, actually.
I mean, the Man United players, didn't they just all die immediately?
No, not all of them died. There was a few survivors. But
there was a moment of silence in one of the matches for that recently. It was an anniversary this year.
Maybe, I don't know. But, you know, remember that player, Salah his name was, he was signing for Brighton from Nantes like 3 years ago. And he crashed into the ocean. Do you remember that?
No. I remember recently Kobe. Do you remember Kobe?
Yeah, but basically the fella who organised the planes, or like the plane, he was found guilty for like doing something to the plane, or like getting a plane that wasn't actually good enough to fly.
See, but why would you do that? Because you'd be killing yourself as well. Like, what the fuck, man?
No, it wasn't the pilot. It wasn't the pilot.
Sense,
it wasn't the pilot. It was the person who actually picked the plane.
That's fucking ridiculous, man.
Or something like that, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know how you could be that evil, bro. Honestly, I don't know how you could, like, I understand, like, do you know the thing is, though? There are some really despicable people. When you look back at, like, World War II, it's literally, Hitler is literally, like, a cartoon villain because of how evil he is. He's, like, pure fucking evil.
That's like, have you ever seen, like in school, our teacher would show us when we were doing like World War II, have you ever seen was it Hiroshima or something? Was that where the bomb was?
Yeah,
the place of that. Have you actually seen a video of it?
Yeah, I think they showed us that in like primary.
Yeah. Like, it was mad. It was like, and in the aftermath as well, like we saw like pictures of the aftermath, and it was crazy. Like, it was mental. It was like there was like rubble everywhere. You could see people under scaffold, like buildings and stuff. It was mad, all that stuff. And there's lots of movies about it as well. Like, what was the one that we not recently we saw, but was it called like 1919 or something?
19 1917. That was World War One.
1917. Yeah, I know that was World War One. Like that, like there's a lot of good war movies.
There is, but that's the thing, right? Though, like to think about people like, because even in World War One, right? Like the people who were involved in that war, they had their reasons for getting involved. It wasn't like pure despicable. It was like neither side was good. Like neither side was good. Each side was bad.
What happened for the start of that again? It was like
I don't know which country, but one of the European countries, I think it was either Switzerland or like Finland. Their like leader was assassinated by someone from another European country, or feigned to be. And then basically what happened was that kicked off the war. And there was a few other things that happened, but that's...
And then World War II was just completely...
But World War II is
one person, like the leader was just...
Well, you see, that's the thing.
Fucking evil bastards.
World War One, right? It was bad people fighting bad people, right? Because the Germans killed a lot of Americans. That's why the Americans got involved.
Yeah.
And the Americans killed a lot of people. That's why in that war.
Yeah.
So like, but in World War Two, like it was just kind of everyone against Hitler because Hitler was such a despicable person.
And Hitler was with like Italy and Japan.
I mean, yeah.
There was the Axis, and then
but at the same time,
France, England.
I mean, okay, Italy was probably just as bad, and Japan as well. Although, actually, you never hear much about Japan. You just hear they were involved. You never learn about the leader and what it was like.
Well, no, see, they were the ones that exploded Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, no, but that was
and then they got bombed.
But
that
was after, like that was at the very end of the war. But you never hear about the start of the war because I'm pretty sure leadership changed throughout the war.
Yeah,
but you never hear about the leader who started the war. You never hear about what happened, like how he got involved, what he was like. You always just hear about Pearl Harbor.
Yeah,
you know.
But
and like, I mean, Japan, like. They were fucking massacred after that. Like they went up against America and got completely and utterly massacred.
Yeah. Because
it's just I don't know though. Like if America didn't use nukes, they would have just probably completely destroyed it with normal bombs and like no one. Like I feel like
I thought I heard somewhere about I don't know if it was like Russia or something or America who are developing a bomb that could literally wipe out the whole world. In just one bomb, it can literally take the whole world.
I mean, America has enough nuclear bombs to destroy the world 8 times.
Yeah. It's mad. North Korea probably do as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
They're like half a country.
At the same time, like, the stuff that happened in Hiroshima was absolutely abysmal, but if that never happened, can you realise that the world would have been over by now, because no one would have realised how bad nuclear weapons would be. And then they would have just probably used them in the Cold War.
Imagine, like you see all these movies, like they say like Loki with the timeline and stuff, like all that stuff. I know it's not real, but like if you really think of it, like imagine something didn't happen, and imagine what effect it would have on now.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's weird. Like say you didn't go to the shops that one day, and if you didn't, you would have got shot because I don't know.
Yeah,
but like thing like that, it's weird to think of. Like imagine you didn't do something.
It is,
or you did,
because it's like at the same time, right? Like if it's the same idea with if Hitler never came about, his ideals might have festered and more people might have had it because people figured out how bad it was due to what Hitler's actions caused, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing. All these horrible actions are so despicable, but if they never happened, like how worse would it have been if this shit festers? Like imagine if Hiroshima never happened, right? And America had time to build up their nukes, and everyone had time to build up all their different nukes, and then
blown everything up.
I know you.
Someone said someone on Twitter said something bad about their president. Bang, blow their house up.
Yeah,
and probably take the whole neighborhood out as well.
Not even that. Like during the Cold War, right? If the stuff with Japan getting nuked never happened, and let's say Stalin or I can't remember who was in charge of America at the time decided to use nukes, and at that time they had a lot of nukes. Imagine how catastrophic that would have been, like how much more catastrophic that would have been.
Yeah,
like it's so sad that at the end of the day, like, such a horrific event in what happened to Japan has probably saved so much,
so many
billions
more
of
lives.
lives. Because people understood, because of what happened there, people now understand the severity of nuclear weapons.
It's mad, like, no, I don't know.
It's kind of sad.
It's mad how, because people have changed so much. Like, people are more like weird in a way. Stuff like that probably wouldn't happen anymore because people would be too afraid. They just want to go home, stay home, make TikToks. Like, stuff like that probably wouldn't happen.
What?
It could happen, but more people probably, instead of going to fighting, why are we fucking at home making TikToks?
I mean, do you remember when I was I don't know if you remember this, but when I was a kid, right? When I was like a really young kid, like, I used to say to my mom, "Oh yeah, you know, they really should stop doing wars because they could literally just decide it on a Call of Duty match, and whoever won got the right to, like, basically be the best." I remember I was like, "Oh wow,
We need you."
yeah."
Yeah.
I mean, most wars are fought through the internet now with, like, hacking, like
remember the one on the NHS
but
or the HSC.
Not even that, right? Did you ever hear about the story? I can't remember, but there was a certain plant. I can't remember what it was. Like a certain factory that the Russians had. That I think it was a nuclear factory, right? Like, for making nukes, and the Americans were caught. Basically, they had a thing where they'd spy. They'd have a spy, like they hacked into one of the cameras, and the way they made it so that when they clicked a button, it would destroy the entire factory. Now, I'm sure I'm missing a lot of information there, and I'm sure there's a lot of holes, but I do remember the Americans were able to destroy something from a foreign nation based on just hacking into one of the cameras and being able, like, it's crazy because a lot of stuff is being done through, like, without actual soldiers.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of rumors, like, all the water problems people have, like the poison in the water and shit is done foreignly and all this crap.
Yeah.
And even, like, have you ever heard the rumor about the pharmaceutical companies and, like,
they have, like, cures for cancer and stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, part of me believes that because I understand how horrible those people are, like how money hungry those people are.
Yeah, but I feel like they could make a lot of money if they did.
Yeah, but
they'd probably make it mad expensive. But
I mean, but at the same time, what you gotta understand, if there was, like, a cure, people would just be taking that one drug, and so, but, like, with cancer having so many different forms and so many different types of drugs, you need to be able to sustain.
Yeah, I'd say there'd be different types.
No, but, like, currently what I'm saying is, like, let's say, for example, like, there's so many different forms of steroids you need to take if you're on chemotherapy. But if there's a cure for cancer, there's only going to be one that people have to buy, so it's not going to spread out the wealth as much. Yeah. And that's kind of their viewpoint. But at the same time, my viewpoint would be, logically speaking, cancer infects half of us, right? Literally half of us.
Yeah, no, it's 1 in 2.
So
1 in 2
people who run those things, it's literally impossible for none of their family members, none of their close family to have died or been affected by cancer in any way. And I feel like it's such a vile disease that no one would want to hide it, because at the end of the day, everyone's families is affected by cancer. Yeah. No one's safe from it, you know?
Yeah, unless you get extremely lucky and every single person in your family is not 1 in 2. Is the second person.
Yeah, but even if it's not in your family, like, think of it, like, people, you get really close to people around you, like friends or neighbors and shit, and then that shit happens.
Yeah.
And it's so bad. And I think part of it is, you know, the way they're like, you don't get checked for cancer yearly.
I feel like it should be mandatory.
It's hard to say it's mandatory because
not even mandatory. Like, say that a HSC or something, or the government should be able to provide you with, because a lot of people wouldn't want to go for stuff like that. It's like,
but that's one thing I'm actually I despise, and I hate when people say they're afraid of the doctor, because as someone who, as I've said before, has, like, had to be in hospitals and with doctors all my life, like, they're some of the nicest people I've ever met. Like, let me be real. and they're so kind and so careful with you.
Yeah.
Now I understand America. You hear stories about America's doctors and their system.
It's crazy. You have to pay.
Everything.
Yeah. Like you get a bill. You break your arm, you probably have to pay like $5,000.
Like things in like a lot of stuff here is free, and if it's not free, it's extraordinarily cheap. Or paid very
like Germany. They have free childcare. Like say like if you're sending your child to creche or something, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, but here in Europe, there's a lot of different like
the EU protects a lot of us. Like, isn't it like the EU? Like they like do like you have to have free.
The EU fundamentally is able to fund a lot more of very cheap insurance programs for Ireland and other countries, and to be able to make certain things mandatory to be free, and to be able to pay the hospitals a certain amount so they don't go completely under. Which is so handy, because America, oh my god, imagine if I was born in America, man. We'd be on the streets with how many surgeries I've had to have. Like,
Jesus.
But here in Ireland and in Europe, I just feel like we're so lucky with how our medical system is run for the most part. Obviously there are issues, there's issues with every system, but we are relatively lucky, right? And I feel like people saying they're afraid of the doctor, I don't understand. Because getting checked once a year for cancer, like what I'm saying is you only get checked once you're
even
45.
at least like once every 2 years. You
only get checked mandatorily once you're 45. I think that should be much younger. Like
30.
I mean, I'm going to get checked every single year by myself, go through the effort of doing that. Because
yeah, I probably will as well.
But it's like, at the same time, it should be much younger for the mandatory checks, because it's becoming a thing that affects so
it happens a lot to kids.
People. Yeah,
it happens a lot to kids. Like
it's happening so much to kids, and even remember, loads of people in our lives have died like incredibly young from cancer.
Yeah,
like 30, 40, like it's incredibly young. I mean, luckily enough, as far as I'm aware, we haven't had any children in our families die from cancer.
Yeah. I know, like, you know, I know someone from like that has died from cancer, like a young girl from our school.
Or from our school. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Christ, you were still in the primary school, right?
Yeah, I was at the funeral because I was with the choir.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, man. That was so sad.
Yeah, that was very sad. Because she had bet cancer 5 times. It was her 5th time. Or it was like her 6th time with cancer. And it was leukemia.
It's so sad. Like, it affects so many people in such disgusting ways.
So many people and so many families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a horrible disease that has it's affected families for generations. Like, even
now there's so much funding in it that you think there should be something, or at least there's a lot of ways to deal with it now.
That's why the mortality rate has gone down. Like we survive now 75% of the time. Like, that's a major upgrade from like 10 years ago when it was like 25% of the time we survived. Like, the research is helping. We just haven't found a cure yet. You know, it's like it's just so hard. And like, I mean, if we're finding it hard to find a cure for something like COVID, which is deadly, but it's nowhere near as deadly as cancer is, for example.
Yeah.
Like, if we're finding it hard to find something that is kind of similar in like makeup to the flu type things, because it's still more fatal, but it's kind of genetic kind of design is very similar to like flu diseases. So you think it'd be easy enough to come up with something to fight that, but that took forever and it's still taking forever. We haven't figured out a way to stop it from spreading, only a way to stop us from dying from it. You know what I mean? Yeah. If it's so hard to do that, then how are we going to figure it out for cancer in any way? Sure.
See, cancer probably has been a lot longer.
Yeah, I know, but
it probably has more funding.
Yes, but also with it being around for much longer, it also has what would you say, more time to mutate, which is the major issue there. Cancer's like the aliens from War of Tomorrow. Yeah, it just keeps mutating.
Yeah, over time it gets worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's hard because like as we said, everyone's affected by it. Our granddad died at like 47 from lung cancer, you know, and then obviously,
yeah, like a lot of people like close to us, like
yeah, like hell, our dad had it. Like that was some when we found out about that was some like really depressing shit. Like we were so like
yeah,
that was really hard to take. That was like, that was. Thank God though he caught it early, and like it's hard to believe. For example,
thank God he got injured in football.
I know
Someone
that's ridiculous. He found it because they had to get a blood test because
someone 2-foot him
because of an injury he got in 5-a-side football, and that's how they caught it so early. Like that's what I'm saying.
So that's a sign for everyone to play 5-a-side football.
It's just incredible. It's incredible how lucky we were to catch it so early for him. Like he would have been dead.
Well, you don't know that.
No, the type of thing. If you let it spread, he would have been dead. Like we're so lucky at how early we caught it. It is sad that he got it at all, but it's just like I don't know. I don't. After everything we've been through, personally, I must say I could never say a bad word about like the system, like the doctor, nurse, and the, like hospital system.
Yeah, like I've never had a problem with anything like that. I mean, I haven't been in a hospital a lot of times for like myself.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't know much. We do take shots at the American hospital system from the.
But I feel like that's just because you have to pay for it.
Yeah, because it's so.
That's really the only reason. Like that, it's like the only reason that a lot of people make fun of it, because you have to pay. Like, you like, even if you just want to get something checked, you have to pay for it. Pay a lot of money for it.
Yeah, like because even if you
like
want,
people get into a lot of debt because of the American like healthcare.
Yeah, like
and that's why a lot of people are afraid to get checked and all that stuff, especially poorer people.
Yeah, it's a real like wealth inequality type thing, and at the same time, I must say this is the same reason I'm not a big fan of like privatized healthcare. Is when money is involved, I feel like people are kind of blinded. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like if you were going to a public doctor who, you know, he doesn't really like, you don't pay for it, right? So he's doing it out of a passion.
Yeah.
He's doing it out of a passion, right? Whereas so he will look for the best way for you to survive. Whereas if you go to a private doctor, he's doing it out of money. He wants more money out of you. So he'll like try and
obviously they'll want to help you, but they obviously also want the money as well.
So it's hard for me, like, and especially because it seems like a lot of even the public side of American hospitals are very privately funded, and that's why that's why people put up with the wait times from public establishments.
Yeah.
There were a lot different tangents than last time.
Last time was football and FIFA. I need football. But yeah,
well,
end it there really. It's pretty much all.
Yeah.
All we have for today. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. The second one, the Halloween special.
Yeah, nothing. We didn't
really do anything in Halloween.
I mean,
or anything spooky.
all the vile shit we talked about was probably, you know, Halloween-esque. So, you know what?
Yeah, all depressing shit. Well, yeah. I hope you enjoyed. That'll be the end of the podcast.
Yeah. No tea again.
No tea again. So you are lucky.
Sad days.
You are very lucky. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and that'll be the end of the podcast. See you later. See you in the next one.